God is not calling you so that He can benefit. He always calls you so that you can benefit. When He says celebrate, He is not saying celebrate my goodness, celebrate my faithfulness, celebrate my greatness. I want you to come because I celebrate you. He said, have this feast. Let us feast and celebrate. Why? The prodigal son has returned. Every time you go in prayer and show up your lovely face to Him. Every time you come Sunday morning, lift your hands and say, thank you, Daddy God. He says, let's celebrate. Every time you come and say, Daddy God, I raise my Holy Communion, my Passover, I remember Him. By remembering Him, I remember what you have done in me. I am standing on victory ground. I remember the benefits this blood provided for me. And God says, this is what I wanted. I celebrate you.
It is not in all sense God created everything not for His benefit. The very fact He created all things inside Himself. That is why God is everywhere. So meaning God created us for His purposes. And the word purposes already means being needed. But in other sense God not doing things so for His benefit. God created the man not in the sense to worship Him but to revere Him. That is how God is so humble. But when the people's worshipping such created things, that makes the God lower than His creation. So God established His religion with Abraham that he will surely become first. For it is stupidity that anyone created such things, but making such of them was higher than who made him. So then God endured Jesus had to serve and or glorify God, as God commanded also to glorify Jesus, who was also Him, as they, the one. These words already means He needs us, as in the sense He will glorify us too, so meaning He is not to be served or be glorified as because for Himself, but He need our service, or at glorifying Him as for ourselves. And how could we glorify God? It is of abiding His will. As about what you said, it is not God's and or Jesus' will that He, or anything about Him not be celebrated. The fact the word celebrate is not indeed about feast. It is about of honoring, or to extol in solemn manner, or inspiring serious feelings, or thoughts, similarly impressive, or revering things or matter about lords, or to worship the lords. So where is your affection or gratefulness if you are not having the meaning of celebrate I mentioned above? As the very first to be celebrated is the every seventh day our Sabbath, as it means rest to the Lord. Exodus 31 verse 16 see a matter to God is being celebrated. Leviticus 23 verse 18, Leviticus 14 verse 16, Leviticus 23 verse 32 to 34. There are so many friends of celebrating Sabbath with feast. That is why Jesus celebrated the Passover with feast, as the Passover is things to glorify the Lord, of His delivering the Israel from bondage of slavery. And in time of Jesus, the Passover which being celebrated as Holy Eucharist is to glorify the lads of the Exodus, or of delivering the Israelites as well as the world from the bondage of sins. Birthday was being celebrated in Job household until Jesus' time, as the descendants of Isaac celebrating birthday, but never Jesus said birthday celebration is bad, as John the Baptist and Jesus came so to abolish all which are against God. Just always remember, it is of unintellectuality of saying oh it is not written in the Bible, or oh it was not commanded by God and or Jesus, because the very will of God is not to do only what was He specifically commanded, but the will of God is to do everything which is good which is only related to His will. So please take note celebrating is either with feast or none. And the very important things you must learn, don't keep on rebutting or lambasting the doctrine or tradition of the existing church. For as when Jesus said what God had opened nothing can shut, that absolutely means there is indeed existing church and existing ministry and existing leaders and existing doctrine. That is why Jesus said you must follow the latter without neglecting or leaving the former undone. So stop refuting about tradition or procession or penitent. As a result see what is happening now in earth as you defies God and says about you must perform the latter without neglecting or leaving the former undone, as it is about existing church and existing ministry and existing leaders and existing doctrine. So the bottom line is, you sects and Islamics stop refuting the doctrine or Bible of the Roman Catholic Church, as both of you commanded by Jesus and His apostles and disciples to ask and to follow the existing church, existing ministry, existing leaders, and existing doctrine. Don't act as you know the scripture or gospel or doctrine or the will of God or Jesus more than the existing church, the Roman Catholic Church.